Started, I just wanted to introduce each of our guest speakers and then my lovely co-host. So let me get our slides switched here. Chase, we're going to start with you. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Chase Guthrie. I am the Central Texas Regional Retail Manager. I've been with First United Bank for about 10 years now.
Awesome. Kevin, how about you?
I'm Kevin Pilgrim, Director of Operational Governance within the Information Services Group. I'm a Boomerang employee, so I've been here 5 years this go round, 10 years previous. So I've been a part of First United Bank for about 20 years.
Awesome. We're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
All right. And my co-host, Miss Shauna, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi everybody. So Shauna Sellers, I've been blessed to work for the organization for a little over 13 years now and have the honor and pleasure of working with our learning and development team here at First United. So really excited to get to visit with you guys today and really just hang out with, a couple of our favorite people at the organization today too.
Yeah. All right. So before we dive in, just in case there's anybody new joining us today, I always like to talk about our series, our Spend Life Renewing. So the definition of renew is just to make like new, to begin again, or to restore to existence. So we kicked off this series back in March and spring, just with everything starting to bloom. It just felt like a good time to talk about refreshing and refocusing in regards to each of the four pillars. And then I know that June is the halfway point through the year, and so just felt like a really good time to check in, especially with personal growth, check in on our goals and just where we're at and where we want to get by the end of this year. So we have a couple of questions that we want to ask our panelists here, and so I'm going to kick it over to Shauna to dive in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and great call out Paige, how we are right in the middle of the year and a prime opportunity to revisit, renew, refresh in your personal growth, right? And so to kind of reevaluate that. And so, thinking of that, I'd like to ask Kevin first, if you don't mind. Share with us, when was a time that you experienced the need to grow? Because that can happen at any point in the year, really.
It sure can. Say about 13 years ago, uh, I probably grew a little too much because at that point I was about 200 pounds. And really, I was walking up a flight of stairs there in Durant. It's a single flight before we built the three-story building, and I was winded. And I was like, I'm 30 years old. This should not be happening. So quickly had a paradigm shift within my mind and going, okay, I'm going to get healthy. And at that time, we had Bonnie Rankin as our wellness director and spoke with her, and she helped me with a lot of different things. And really, she goes, you need a goal. So I said, okay, I'm going to set a goal. I want to be able to see my abs by the time I'm 40. And she's like, you know what that means, right? And I'm like, no. She goes, abs are made in the kitchen. And I'm like, well, I already said that's what I'm going to do, so I'm going to do it. And sure enough, my 40th birthday, walked in with a lot of her help. She put the calipers on me and checked me, and I was at 6% body fat,
Wow.
and which is way too low, but it was fun, got it done. And then she told me to go eat a hamburger. But really, it just boils down to it really was a good paradigm shift in the mind and a lifestyle change on eating healthy, things of that nature. And it's just been awesome. Been doing it for 13 years. We had Sarah Milam. Now we've got our phenomenal Barbara Carnahan. So, we've got some great resources out there for anybody that's looking to, invest in their health and wellness goals.
Absolutely. And I love that too. I love that we throw in the mental health of that because that's just as much as part of personal growth, right? Focusing on our mental health and that mental shift because we have choice to make those decisions and we get to make that choice to renew every single day or every single morning. So making that, love that. Awesome. So, Chase, I'd like to ask you kind of the same question, so you've got a little bit of a different story to share with us today. So, when was a time that you experienced really kind of the need to grow?
Yeah, I'm gonna steal from one of my favorite memes lately, and that's just like be like I-35 and always keep working on yourself. Never
So true.
stop. And so I know we're going to talk here in a little bit about how to do that. But, I think for me, it's been about setting huge goals, like being ambitious and really figuring out what I want to do from a really high standpoint. And for me right now, that's, just the pursuit of happiness, and then under that is one layer is to show my kids how they can pour happiness into others and how they can have grace for themselves during the process. And so, in my new role here in Central Texas, I've been down here for about 15 months. There's always something new because I haven't been a regional manager before. And so with that, there's all these different obstacles, all these different opportunities to learn. And so instead of looking at them as just obstacles that, all right, I'm going to stop here and maybe I didn't handle the situation the right way or however that might go, just look at it as an opportunity to learn and grow and stay curious and really pour into the people around me so that I can be my best and learn with them.
Yeah, I love that. And I'd love to dig a little deeper because you did such a drastic change. Um, and so can you tell us a little bit what prompted you to really kind of explore that opportunity? I know, of course, relationships play a factor, but was there anything in particular, that just kind of hit you one day and you're like, man, I think it's time for a change?
Yeah, I was lucky to run into Brian Bauman one day, and he kind of talked about the opportunity. But I've always looked up to our regional managers. I've got a great stable of advocates in my corner, and I think that's a big step for whenever you set these goals, is to have people that can be honest with you and can support you along the way, can let you know when you're messing up, and then can also lift you up whenever you're feeling down and encourage you. And so this shift was, I saw the joy that they could bring to others, the development. Nothing speaks more volumes than legacy and being able to see the impact that you have on people. And so that was a big reason for my shift and wanting to go and learn so many new things is, I love coming into a branch and being able to just sit and talk and find out what's working, what's not working, check in on people's personal lives and, just be involved. So
Yeah.
that was a big reason for my shift because it kind of goes back to that overall purpose of pursuing happiness and pouring back into others.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really kind of thinking of the Stoics and the books that I'm reading, surrounding Ryan Holiday. And to be one of the good passions worthy of practice in everyday life, right? So chasing joy in everyday life, I think, is really important for us to experience growth, and I think we will along the way. Love that. Awesome. So Chase, you talked a little bit about some of the things that you did, right? So I'd like to ask you and kind of and switch a little bit, um, to this question. What habits or practices do you have in place to really kind of help you continue to grow as you're on this new journey?
Yeah, I think building routines is my number one go-to. I have pretty bad ADHD, and so just having to pick out what shirt I'm going to wear with what pair of pants is one task that I really don't want to have to do every morning. So Sundays are like my meal prep, my laundry, just getting ready for the week and seeing what my travel is going to be like, making sure the childcare and everything else is taken care of. Trying to keep the house clean because if you're organized at home, guess what? That's going to carry over to everything everywhere you go. I find when my truck is dirty, I'll be honest with y'all, like then I feel like I'm not all 100%, because it's one more thing I'm looking at or what image that might be. And so for me, it's really starting with a plan, of being prepared for my week and making those decisions easier because that's less brain power that I have to use and can use elsewhere. And
Love
then
it.
next is always being open to feedback, and hey, if I go into there's some situations I might be hosting a meeting. Half the time it's like I'm asking, all right, what could I have done differently? And they're like, nothing, So or oh, this is where you messed up, And so just being able to try and create an environment around me that allows for others to, be open and honest, so that I can improve and I can take what they say and try and implement it in a different way. So doing that in all aspects, and then always holding in my head, is this the reflection that I want to, teach my boys? So I've got 3 kiddos,
Mhm.
and I want them to all grow up to be good humans, right? And so the one way we can do that as parents is lead by example. So it's one of the ways
Yes.
that I'm able to kind of keep a clear head and stick to my purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And love, what are the things that we can do to make our life easier? So, leading into that, I've heard others say. Kevin, how about you? Any practices or habits that you have to help continue on your growth journey?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll kind of tag along a little bit there with what Chase already started because, or stated, again, from the health and wellness perspective, he talked about the meal prep, things of that nature, and having those healthy options. Uh, One of the things that really helped me, especially recently when we had the Power of Habit class, one of the things I never realized, because you always talk about breaking a bad habit. Well, you can't break a bad habit based off of the class, and that was mind blowing for me. It's like all you can do is replace a habit with another one. And so for me, meal prep, things like that, that is a habit. It's something I do every single week. And what really kind of started changing for me in some of my habits and adding, kind of like what Chase is talking about, is being transparent, being vulnerable, first and foremost with yourself. One of the biggest habits I now have is journaling. I used to hear people say it all the time. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I cannot see now not journaling because I don't do it every day, but 3 to 4 times a week. And really, it boils down to um, just getting those thoughts out of my head, kind of like Chase was talking about. What could I have done differently? How would I like that to go better next time? And then being vulnerable to others, like he stated, and saying, hey, can you give me some feedback? What did you think about that? Did I say it the right way? Did it land with my intention? And I would state that that was probably one of the biggest things that changed for me recently as I was working with Scott Flowers in a coaching session. That once I started journaling, that really did start pointing out other areas that I probably needed to focus on for personal growth. That even leads into some of our other pillars like faith, like, our financial wellness, things to that nature, because you start seeing those patterns at that point and then being vulnerable again with other people and going, look, I've got this going on in my life. What about you? Do you, how do you attack that? How do you do those things? And I think it's really just great because you put those practices into place and it just opens other areas up in your life that you can be working on.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, the vulnerability that you've both shared with us, and then just, being brave enough and having the courage to really just ask for feedback and look at it not as something that is, for shame or anything like that, that anything is wrong with you, because there's not. We each add value in our own special ways, in our own different ways, and it's amazing to see how we can do that. But then you're asking for feedback for growth, and allowing that vulnerability to come out. So really appreciate that example from both of you. I love, kind of what are the practice or habits you have in place to help you grow, and just asking yourself really kind of the question, if I took things patiently, step by step, what could I conquer? So thinking of baby steps, what's a baby step I could take today, to reach that overall goal and that overall outcome? So love that. And I love how our new course, Power of Habit, was able to really kind of impact that. So yeah, great course to take, for sure. Awesome. So for our groups on the call, Kevin, I'll kind of follow along with you and keep this conversation going. What advice would you share with someone who's starting or renewing their journey or growth? What's something you would share with them?
So I would definitely state, and I'm going to go back again, very thankful for Scott Flowers and his coaching and really helping me look introspective And one of the things that came out of that coaching session was try. Don't fear failure. You need to try. And when you try, that's when you can have some of those paradigm shifts. That's where you can have some of those mindset changes, or even, lifestyle changes that you're looking for. But if you don't ever try, you'll never know what works for you. Because some people, meal prep may not work for them if they're looking for a wellness thing. Again, take advantage of the offerings that the bank has when it comes to our health and wellness with Barbara. I know her and the team would love to help you with different ideas on what might work best for you. If you've been doing something the same way over and over and you actually start seeing that waning, sometimes that's because, it might be getting a little monotonous, might be getting a little boring. Because for me, I've gone from my health and wellness from running 5Ks back in the day to Spartan races to now, you'll laugh, but I do a lot of airsoft, and you're like, how is that health and
I love
wellness?
it.
Well, I have to put on a bunch of gear, things like that. And when I go do an event over a weekend, I will literally put in about 30 to 32 miles. But it's while I'm having fun with the hobby. So the whole point of it is just don't get in a rut, because a rut's nothing more than the gray with the two ends kicked out, in my opinion. Change it up. Don't be afraid to try something new. Keep it to the point of renew, because it may be working for you now, but if you're getting bored, then try something different within that same space to keep it renewed and keep it exciting, because that's what it's all about. And again, power of habit, emotional intelligence. You talked about baby steps. When you look at the drama triangle and the Power of Ted book, but then there's the second book out there that's the 3VQ, the three vital questions. That's a big one, to just be able to figure out what those baby steps are and to help provide some tools. Because again, everybody learns differently, everybody reacts differently with information. And that's what I love about this organization. We've got so many options and opportunities to help you on any of your journeys.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we're excited so slight plug, we're excited to launch those new courses this year with Power of Habit and three vital questions. And so definitely for our groups, be on the lookout for those. So Chase, how about you? Any wise wisdom from Central Texas on how to get started in renewing or get started with their growth journey?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's dream big. Goals that are big, scary, ambitious, that are honestly daunting are the ones that are worth going after. If you set a small goal, that's great, but what's that feed into? And so as you set your big goals, then break it into chunks and set yourself up with some waypoints. Kind of like the habit piece of, hey, if I can make a little bit of a win here, a little bit of a win, you turn that mountain into a molehill. By knocking out little chunks at a time. And then as you're getting started, grace. We all mess up. We all make mistakes. We all start to get that self-doubt in our head that says, why are we even trying? So work through it, cut yourself some slack and show yourself the progress that you've made to get to where you are. Those are two of the bigger ones for me. I think as long as you are able to kind of hold that up and you're pursuing something, then you're already winning. So if I could kind of end with that, it's more of, hey, we're all perfectly imperfect, and we're all enough to go and reach our goals. So why not do it big and really go and strive for something that is outside of our comfort zone.
Yeah. Jason, I love that. I'll follow up if you don't mind, Shauna. Give yourself grace and forgive yourself, because we are not perfect. And again, that's the whole point of try. You try something, it doesn't work, try something else. That's okay. But don't feel like a failure, because think about the light bulb and how many times it took for that failure to happen before it finally became something that we use all day, every day now. So trying is big, grace is big, forgiveness is big, especially forgiving yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love, Paige has shared with us, and, we have every opportunity every morning It's a new opportunity to start again every single day, and is really because we're not perfect by any means, and so we can ask forgive ourselves and really give ourselves that grace. So great ad as well. I think just try something. It doesn't have to be the right thing, right? So just try something. Fail fast and fail forward. Also, another kind of quip that we hear often, especially with some of our other coursework and just the way we're growing as an organization, and really appreciate the opportunity to know that we don't have to know it all. We don't have to be perfect, but just that continuous persistence to move forward in whatever step that might be, a baby step, dream big, and see where we go in the organization. So tons of resources available. And I know these gentlemen are more than happy to help share with you guys on a one-on-one basis. So if you have a thought or a question or want to dive a little bit deeper, like, hey, I'm kind of experiencing that now too. These gentlemen are great advocates and really kind, and will share their journey with you. So hope it's okay. I'm sure it is to invite folks to reach out to you.
Of course.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Very good. Well, I think, one of the things I really kind of wanted to wrap us up on, Paige, is this idea that dealing with habitual behavior in order to make progress is the art of living. And I've just kind of found, this theme lately, this art of living and finding your art to living. So I encourage you all to do that for sure, and just take the first baby step in order to do that. And what's the habit? So awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining. Paige, I think I'll turn it back over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys so much for the tips you shared, the motivation you've given us, and all the good resources. I'm over here like trying to remember all the books Kevin said, so we'll have to drop those in the chat before everybody jumps off. But as with every pillar talk, before I let you guys go, I know we're getting kind of close to time, wanted to throw out our survey. So we do this survey every time just to get feedback from those of you that watch. Not only does it help us to just keep improving Pillar Talk and troubleshooting those things, but to give us new ideas. What do you guys want to hear about in regards to Spin Life Wisely, our 4 pillars? What do you want to learn more about? So if you haven't worked with a QR code before, you open the camera that's on your phone, just aim it at that little box there, and it should pop up a link for you to click and take our survey. It's just a few questions, not super long. So we'll give you a minute to grab that picture here real quick. Also, as a thank you for completing our survey, every month we draw for 2 gift cards in the amount of $25, Amazon gift cards. So we'll throw your name into a drawing if you complete the survey. Just a quick little thank you for doing that and giving us your feedback. And then real quick, while you guys are taking that survey, I wanted to talk about our next Pillar Talk series. So this is the final installment of our Spin Life Wisely, Spin Life Renewing series. We're going to come back in September. So September through December, 3rd Thursday, same time, same place. We're going to be talking about steps to self-care as it relates to each of our pillars. So every month we'll focus on a different pillar, and we'll share some steps to self-care to help you maybe with some of those new habits you're trying to implement or just goals you're trying to complete through the end of the year. As you're working through that, how can you take care of yourself so that you show up as your best self to complete those goals and even help those around you, your friends, your family, your coworkers, just anybody that is in your immediate circle. So it's best to, like they say, put your own oxygen mask on first so that you can help others. And that's what Spin Life Wisely is all about. So we're going to share some steps to self-care with you here in the fall. And then real quick before we let you go, here at First United, one of our meeting traditions, I guess you could call it, is we always end with appreciation. So this series has been so wonderful. I'm so thankful for all the panelists that have joined us, all of my co-hosts that have joined us. Specifically, I'm thankful for the three of you today, Chase and Kevin, thank you for coming on and sharing your stories and your tips. Miss Shauna, I'm so thankful for you too, for jumping on and helping me. And then thank you to all of you that are joining here today or have joined over the past few months. We're so appreciative that you guys are here and sharing your feedback with us. So give you a few minutes back on your lunch break. Thank you guys for joining today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Well,
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.